And then moments later, it shows the two suspect vehicles blowing through an intersection before hitting two young girls on their bikes. But many of the riders we spoke with say they want to see these increases go towards improvements on bars. We have learned that the fire started at a construction site, which was supposed to be an apartment complex with retail space. Most of this neighborhood was sleeping right around 2 o'clock when this SUV was swallowed by a sinkhole, and have been running into similar damage like this all over town, with massive trees blocking certain roadways, working through that methodical process of sorting those potentially explosive chemicals. If you take a look right behind me here, packed with people celebrating their Father's Day weekend, and it involved this red pickup truck. There is no excuse to not have a life jacket when you can borrow one for free at any of their swimming locations. They absolutely want to see that momentum continue to keep going. These Warriors fans have already started to pack Thrive City. Julian, the block where it all happened is still shut down this morning, more than a day after this explosion rocked this neighborhood. And here behind me, this is our first up-close look at some of the damage left behind from yesterday's blast. All morning long, we have seen more than a dozen police and fire investigators coming and going from this scene, collecting evidence and just starting their lengthy investigation. As police and fire investigators work to piece together what caused a home in San Francisco's Sunset District to explode, as heard on a neighbor's Ring video, neighbors relive the moment.
Suddenly, the glass shake, just like several people shaking my window. And I was, oh my God, my windows almost come down.
Angela Chu was inside of her window company less than 2 blocks away when she thought it was someone trying to break in.
And then later on, my friend called me, oh, my window broken, my window broken.
Her friend was one of 5 families on 22nd Avenue told not to return overnight. A total of 3 homes, including the one that exploded, red tagged. This as San Francisco firefighters lined up shoulder to shoulder and watched one woman's body pulled from the rubble Thursday night.
We brought in a human remain canine as well as one of our own San Francisco Fire Department live body canine search teams. We had to work in coordination with an excavator to actually move some of the debris so it would be safe for not only the firefighters but also the canines.
Meanwhile, as daylight broke the morning after the blast, about a dozen investigators came to collect what appeared to be large canisters from inside or near the home where it all happened as possible evidence.
They'll look at things. They want to make sure that they're looking at everything when they're looking for what they call a actual origin, which is where the fire may have started. And once they find that origin, they start to work on the cause.
Another person that was inside of the home, as well as a firefighter, were also hurt yesterday. The cause of this explosion is still under investigation. However, fire officials tell me that investigation could take several months to complete. Live in San Francisco, Lena Howland, ABC 7 News. In an already challenging industry, fisherman Zachary Hassan believes it may be on its last legs.
Oh, it's dying. It's been dying for a long time, for sure.
Where the Dungeness crab season was delayed 4 times on the front end late last year, cutting out holidays like Thanksgiving and Christmas, Hassan wasn't able to open until January 1st of this year.
It kind of keeps you on a hamster wheel a little bit.
But the State Department of Fish and Wildlife announced Thursday they're cutting the season short by nearly a month, ending on April 15th, to protect humpback whales from getting tangled in trap and buoy lines.
The weather is worse, and the amount of time we have to go fish before the crab go on the clutch is shortened. And kind of in the end, the guys that get the biggest hit are the guys like me with little boats.
And Hassan says because of this, he worries his team won't see any profits from this year's spring bite, which is expected to be nearing its peak by mid-April.
But then when you get that cut off, it's kind of like, why did I waste all that time and money?
Here at Pillar Point Harbor in Half Moon Bay, fishermen tell me because of the now shortened season, that means less supply. And that also means that cost will be passed on to the consumer.
It's a shorter time for the crab for us, right?
And we found people rushing to Half Moon Bay to get their fresh catches while they still can.
I'm really sorry because those people, that's their whole fleet. That's what they live off of for the entire year.
It's sad. It's sad. We're probably going to come back next weekend, because it ends on the 15th, on April 15th. So we'll come back and get a couple more of these guys.
And fishermen like Hassan say come April 15th, he'll be unemployed for 7 months without much money to show for it.
It's going to be a shoestring budget for the rest of the year, for sure.
In Half Moon Bay, Lena Howland, ABC 7 News. Long before a Titan submersible carrying 5 people on a quest to see the Titanic wreckage lost all communications before later imploding, came the early warnings.
We all told him, someone is going to be killed in this thing, and you've got to not do it.
OceanGate CEO Stockton Rush paid a visit to Alameda back in 2015 while he was in the thick of building his submersible to meet with Liz Taylor. Taylor is a deep-sea engineer and president of DOER Marine Operations, where they build their own submersibles. He wanted to hear her findings from a research project.
Stockton felt like he was pushing the edge. You want to push the envelope, use some new materials.
And that's when Taylor specifically advised against the use of carbon fiber, as it's still experimental and has not been tested over time in extreme depths of the ocean.
It being hollow on the inside, or just, one atmosphere on the inside, and having the tremendous pressure of the ocean, trying to push in on it. It just doesn't, it's not the right material.
Then in 2018, the Manned Submersible Committee of the Marine Technological Society backed her up, writing a letter also urging Rush not to proceed. Ignoring all warnings, he moved forward.
So where this really went kind of askew was that it was like, I don't need that. I've done the math. I'm confident in my engineering.
Taylor says Rush cut obvious corners, like not building his sub in a pair to have self-rescue capacity, or with what's called an ROV. That's a remotely operated vehicle that can serve as a self-rescue tool.
There was no capable ROV on board. There was no second submersible.
And she says because Rush was technically operating in international waters, there was no way of stopping him.
So when this happened through this combination of, hubris, complacency, and greed, it was incredibly frustrating and so sad for the families that they didn't have, maybe they just had no idea of the true level of risk that they were putting themselves at.
In Alameda, Lena Howland, ABC 7 News.